All right, we are back in business. I finally found the right spot for the volume of the mic, so this is really a very well tested mic to make sure that I have the optimum audio without having too much of a background hissing noise so that it's pleasing to listen to. I'm not trying to get an ASMR channel, but hey, if it does become one, I guess that's a good thing regardless. So we are on chapter 2. I forgot to press record when I first initially started this area, but it's really not that far into chapter 2 here. It immediately starts off with this like very um, plagued area where the water itself is poisonous. So if you jump onto the water, it will do 1 damage to you as long as you're in the water for every second you're there. And then you meet a really cute nun from the beginning, and you're supposed to build this little patient room for her so that she can cure people, as she's a young nun thinking she can still cure this rancid place. So the first things first is that the bedroom didn't even have a door and a very suggestive sleeping mat. I don't want to sleep next to her, but hey, she was the one who placed it there. So this actually I caused another issue where it took me way too long to actually figure out that one of the materials needed were not something that I needed to search for on this island, because I kept thinking it needed a wood piece to make this comfortable stool. And take a look at this monster. Oh, by the way, this nun can shoot magic missiles. How cool is that? Um, I guess she's using the holy water and just like throwing it. But the wood is a commodity that you can't get in this world or this area. So I needed a portal for that. So I'm going to try to point out at that point and just skip right to where I finally managed to get through. So right now I'm just trying to level out the place. There's something about leveling out an area that makes it seem pleasing to the eye, you know? You'll see it for what it is. I'll probably try to get a place to not have it um, too flatlined or too boring to look at maybe at one point, but it's always so uniform and so pleasing to the eye for me. So we'll see how that goes. Right now the rooms are not even lined up. I do eventually take out the back wall of the bedroom and make it more aligned. But I think I had to go out and get more dirt just to fill up the rest of the safe area. A very straightforward. Oh, that's the fancy bed that we get here. It's really nice. Can't wait to show off. But it turns out that's not a dirt block, it's just a table. Alright, and then we set that up, and this is where I embark in thinking, well, I'm supposed to get more wood. And I'm hitting literally every tree item here, and I'm just getting branches or branches. That's literally it. That's the closest thing it comes to a wooden block, a branch. But this was my first real time exploring and facing these guys. These guys add a whole new level to the fighting element to this game, because all of a sudden now they can shoot projectiles. Well, I mean, not to say that the first chapter didn't have any, but not only do they shoot, but they hoard up. It's really easy to get overwhelmed with them. You see that? He had a triple shot in there, and it poisons you. Cotton. That was a really cool item. So cotton just basically reaches a point where it's a lot of used for mattresses and stools. So it replaces fur in the first game. So like a higher quality level of comfort. And butter beans is the only means of sustenance in this realm, because no one is because no one was cooking, because I didn't have a cook fire room set up, so the nun was not doing anything at all. So I really had my priorities all in a weird shamble here. So I did cut it forward to meeting this guy who's actually a healer himself. So not only do we have a nun, but we have a actual medicinal apothecary. I've always wanted to use that word. So his little quest is he needs you to build him a rest piece or rest in peace or memorial statue to fill, because he's missing one of the four. So it's up to you to create it. And then inadvertently, while looking for that stupid stool, I found other people that my quest requires. So again, it's never a bad thing to explore. But I explore for the wrong reasons. I I didn't make that into an official sick room. So I didn't make it into an actual room. It needed a light source. So after putting that down, it was possible. And at this point, I really started scouring the place for the wooden block, because this thing, it requires a palm. But for me, I was an idiot and I didn't check. So, and I didn't actually have. I knew that getting a wooden block would open up a lot of necessities that I required, like getting the big chest coffer. So that would soon come to fruition after I realized my mistake here of not requiring it, because the wooden block would come later on in the next area where you, after you get your first portal, because I saw the palm trees across the barrier that you can't cross, but here I passed some very important pieces that I needed to make that stool and buckets, which was cord. And if you remember, cord is made from ivy, and I just bypassed all these ivies. Great view though. Great view that to die from. And at this point I wanted to make sure, so I went back to the original area to see if these trees in the water would drop it. Nope. A lot of mistakes. But at that point I was no longer afraid of the water. Just soaked up the 1 damage and just healed afterwards. But I really brought it through my paces here. And there's another sick guy that I didn't want to deal with at the time. And then there were random islands, as well as just this concrete wall that really didn't go anywhere. I realized the mistake I made for leaving the guy behind. I actually go back to pick him up eventually. Oh, I was finally smart enough to also make the cook room so that the nun could make some kind of food, instead of me eating the beans. But the name sounds delicious. What is it? Butter beans? And again, I'm going up here because it's the only fertile area. My logic was, okay, so if the wilted trees aren't giving any solid wood, then perhaps it's... See there, palm trees. I tried to go across. No such luck there. But it's very fortunate that I sped it up, because it made it look easy. I explored so much that I even found the portal to the next chapter by accident. So I made a full circle at this point, and I wanted to continue still traveling through the dark. Finally go pick up the guy, I think. And I think at this point I started to come to terms with the idea that I will have to complete it here before I can make the items. Come on, be a smart man. I honestly really don't remember. Do I check for it? Yes, I checked for it and finally realized. And then, okay, finally, we're going to progress here. I skipped the whole walk entirely, get the ivy, and we are back in business. Yes, I am getting frustrated at myself watching an old clip of myself. But very valuable lesson indeed. And also another valuable lesson. It took me until chapter 2 to realize that you couldn't port back or use the chimera wings while there's something above you. Alright, got the 2 items I needed, got an excess amount of every other item here, so there's that.